This week in car audio. Tune in. We'll be talking about bass, talking about chips, talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in. This week in car audio. Yeah. Tune in. This week in car audio.
Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, Doug, the Judge Stockton, and your co-host back again, the internet superstar and movie star, Mr. Jeffrey Fernandez. How's it going, Jeff?
Thank you, Doug. You're so kind. You're so kind.
I'm still sharing a couple more places here. Did you have any shows this weekend, Jeff?
No. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, though. I'm back to Cali, SoCal.
So I heard about that. When that is July 9th, right?
Saturday, July 9th, and we just got a sponsor to upgrade it to a T.W.I.C.A. So big thanks going out to Mr. Moses Martinez.
Oh, where are you guys doing it at?
Upgrading. In San Bernardino, believe it or not.
Oh, so he's going to drive all the way down there?
Yeah, that's what he says. I hope so.
Awesome.
I hope so. He's already paid, so.
Yeah, you know what? He upgraded the show in Reno on July 23rd also.
Yeah, he's doing big things.
Yeah, so he's trying to share off all the stuff that he's been doing. So without further ado, let's get to our guest today. Our guest, Mr. Rusty Flowers. How's it going, Rusty?
Hey.
Good.
Mr. DC Audio himself.
DC, yeah.
Hey, Moses Martinez is watching right now. So,
nice.
Hey, Moses, thanks for the upgrade there on Jeffrey's show.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And I actually moved my show from the 11th, from the 11th to the 18th to help not conflict with your show or another show that's going on. So that's all good. We got Barbados checking in, SQ Sounds, Tristan and Tiffany. Rusty knows them.
Dealers of ours. Yep, absolutely.
Yes, they are.
Fantastic.
Hey, Jeffrey, take this for a second. I got to close my door so my wife doesn't yell at me too much. So
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So I was kind of sharing the story with you, Rusty, that I went live on my Facebook, right? And I was kind of pushing the show. Hey, we got Rusty Flowers from DC Audio, going to be on the podcast tonight. And I decided to throw in some trivia. And I was like, anybody out there watching know what Rusty was running before DC Audio was DC Audio? And, it's safe to say I got all these crazy and wild guests and people going back, like telling me like PPI and stuff like that. And ultimately some people knew and, so we talked about you were running Atomic at the time. Back in, I think you said 2004, right?
Yeah, 2004.
And you had the Audubon amplifiers, the big, what they also were the microwave amps, right? Because they were huge. They looked like a microwave.
They did. And they had, those damn things had so many fans on them, that when you fired them up, it sounded like some type of, airplane taking off. They were wild.
Oh. Yeah. That's when you had that little S10, right?
Yeah, little 80
no wall.
S10
yeah, no super straight no wall.
Yeah, I like that. And that class was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
And just before we really get into a bunch of stuff, but Rusty, I mean, explain to people, even though your first year you went, you were definitely not the loudest guy at World Finals. I think you took 5th or 6th or something like that, right? Third, which is not bad at all. But there's no way you would have reached those goals without other people that were in there competing that were louder than you helping you out. Is that how accurate is that?
Yeah, I that's one thing that I'll definitely say about DB Drag is you learn you got your guys that have been there forever and they know a lot of tricks. There's so many little things. to becoming a champion and winning anything. It was a big eye-opening experience even going there in 2004. Like, one thing nobody bothered to tell me is you it's hard to be competitive in no wall without a caravan. Nobody mentioned that. So when I showed up in finals and there's this row of caravans with an 88 S10 in it, I'm looking at it like, I missed something.
But believe it or not, nowadays you need a little tiny truck. So
They got them doing good, huh?
exactly.
Yeah. And the caravans, man, those were the ticket.
Yep.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, like you were saying, a lot of the veteran guys, they'll pitch in and help out. I remember some Canadian guys, came by and they were looking at the truck and they were like, "Hey, you want to know how to, gain like 0.2?" I was like, "Okay,
right now."
Tell me where 0.2 is. Sure, go ahead, man. What's up? Where's it at? And it was the whole, duct tape, from the outside of the surround to the face of the box.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. So I'm like, I'll try anything. Slapped it on there, 0.2. I was like, cool. But yeah, and it's these guys that have done it, forever. That have all these little tips and tricks and whatnot, and that's the championships. A lot of times are like Jeffrey will tell you, there's sometimes they're won by tenths. You know what I mean?
By
and
tenths, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd imagine, dude, that your world champion ride. I'm sure you have, probably thousands of hours into that thing. Looking for every tenth, and that's what it takes to win.
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
Real quick, Tristan over on the YouTube side says, I don't know if Tiffany or I ever told you, but Rusty is who gave us our first dealership and helped us get SQ sounds out there. Thank you to everyone at DC Audio.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I everybody starts somewhere, right?
Yep.
And no matter what we're doing in life, I look at it like, everybody, you never know really what anybody's capable of. Mm-hmm. So give people a shot. Somebody needs their first shot. Everybody.
Yep.
And if they do great with it, that's great for everybody. It's great for them. It's great for you. If they don't do anything with it, then you learn something about them, and they didn't want it that bad. Yep. So but somebody gave me my first shot. Yep. You know what I mean? At a lot of things in life. So I try to pay that back. Somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to give a run at this. Cool. Let's see what happens.
I mean, you were there for John Robbie, right? And his up and coming thing.
Wow. Yeah. That's a whole nother story, right?
the short version of that, man, is a long time ago, before anybody really even knew who he was. This kid shows up at the back door of DC, and something about, I heard you got a SPL meter here, and yeah, I do. And so we metered his car, and I'm pretty sure I promised I'd never tell anybody what it did. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I think it was just a couple, maybe one or two Rockfords in the back of his truck. And
not impressive.
No. But yeah. So then I think once he got on that meter, it kind of kicked something in him. When he started coming back and getting different things and trying to get more score out of it, the same way all of us get hooked into the meter deal. And the guy you could tell was super driven, a real go-getter. And I offered the guy a job, and so he worked for DC for a while. And he's a hard worker. I watched that guy, with his eBay account. He would drive back and forth to LA to pick up product, come back, slang it on eBay. At his garage at his house kind of set up, and the guy's super determined, and like I said, a really hard worker. Nobody could ever take that from him. And yeah, and look at him today. You know what I mean? The guy's a huge success, and I'm just happy to see a friend do well, and yeah, know that I gave him his first shot. And
yeah, It's a beautiful thing.
John, don't forget about the little guys that helped you out.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's another thing that's pretty awesome about like the DB drag and the industry and the people we got involved with this. Jeffrey's boss, what's his name, Roger, or something like that. Is he not your boss?
Roger.
Well,
I don't know. It's kind of weird. You know, I've known him for so long, like, you know, consider him more of a buddy than a boss.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's some days where I guess we got to play that role. But
I mean,
yeah, okay.
you know, so Roger, you know, this
Can I ask
car.
a question real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
So to talk about Roger, so Jeffrey, how long ago did the Team XSSPL stuff, man? How long ago did all that stuff start?
Well, it started way before. Let's see, I started coming around on DB Drag. I think it was still around like pre-DB Drag days.
Yeah, I heard 95.
I want to say like, yeah, kind of like Ayahuasca times.
Yeah.
Back when Roger, you know, had his little, what was it, a Blazer?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's his license plate read XS SPL. It's still actually at the shop right now. But, well, the license plate frame, not the.
I was saying the Blazer's gone.
No, the Blazer's gone.
Oh, still has a license plate.
Yeah, the license plate. Yeah. And I think every car after he would put that license plate on it. But yeah, you know, right now it's, there's nobody on the team, you know, just we all went our separate ways and, you know, did our own thing. But yeah, that was like, man, way back in the day.
Yeah. So where I was going with that whole thing is without DB Drag and the competition scene as a whole, you wouldn't have Roger working for Crossfire. You wouldn't have Jeffrey working for Crossfire. You wouldn't have Rusty starting up DC Audio. You wouldn't have had T3 Sounds going on. You wouldn't have had DD Audio come about. You wouldn't have had, you know, John Robbie and you know, Sky High come about. So, I mean, this industry, it's absolutely amazing the people you meet and how driven they are. I mean, you got to be driven to be a champion. Absolutely 100%. You aren't going to become a champion being lazy. Yeah. And when you're around that many driven people, they tend to do some pretty cool things, I would have to say. So
yeah,
for sure.
I totally agree. And there's all those off branches like you're talking about. You know, DB Drag's going to have the initial people that it influences, you know, and then because of that person's success, they're going to help other people succeed. Yep. And then those are going to help other people succeed. And further, you know, on down the line. And when you really go back to where, you know, a lot of that comes from, you're right. It's DB Drag. I used DB Drag like when we had Sound Solutions, right? One of the biggest things I did was use DB Drag to convince my customers to keep coming back to get better scores.
Yeah.
You know, build the store.
Yeah, so I absolutely use your store as a model when I talk to shops, and I say the most successful thing I've ever seen is, and you weren't the first one to do it, but you were probably one of the more successful because you maintained it. And what it is a customer comes in, says, "How do I get on that board?" Well, you get on that board by being loud. Well, how do I get loud? Well, number one, you got to be my customer. Number two, I'll help you, right? Yeah. I mean, because you got, I mean, people may not know, but Rusty, he really put himself out. And it's not just Rusty. When Rusty puts himself out, he's putting Anna out too. Whether you believe it or not or know it or not, you know, Rusty's sacrifices are Anna's sacrifices too. They are a team. I've never seen them, you know, I'm not saying that they're perfect, but definitely, you know, they come together as a team. She stopped doing her previous job to help with DC Audio, you know, and that's wholly Rusty's thing. Rusty stopped racing motorcycles to satisfy his wife, Anna, you know. So I mean, that's
Nice,
how it is, right? I mean, they truly are a team. So when you see Rusty sacrifice something, you know that Anna sacrifices too, right?
Yep.
So
Team effort.
yeah, and it shows too. I mean, they're both all in with everything they do. Are in DC Audio for sure.
Yeah. I think that's the only way to really see how successful an idea can be is if you're not 100%, then no matter what happens with your idea, you'll never really know if it, did everything it could have.
No, absolutely.
Man, I feel like I got, a lot of luck, with DC. I've seen so many companies, start up and go away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So a lot of luck. And in the beginning of it, I couldn't even get people to run DC. Sitting there trying to build woofers and whatnot and sell them. I was like, man, this is hard to sell them. And then so I started leaning on my DB drag buddies. You know what I mean? Like, hey, man, you want to try out some subs? And it was really because of those people that were willing to give those subs a shot. Just threw them in to see what happened. They're like, hey, these work pretty good. And then it started. Then people were willing to kind of pay for it once they see they actually work. But up to that point, just trying to sell them, it was rough.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. I had my company going. We were fairly successful. We had our legs cut out from underneath us by the big manufacturers. That happens. Especially back, before you started, it was really, really difficult to get involved. I mean, even when you started, it was starting to loosen up a little bit, but still, I mean, just the ease of getting into the industry now versus when we started is night and day, right?
Yeah.
You had to know somebody, you had to know where to go get stuff. Now I can go on Alibaba and buy,
Yeah.
Wow.
You can get pre-built anything on Alibaba with, whatever name you want on it. That's not what we do, though. Just
Funky Puppy. We can go Funky Puppies, right?
Whoa.
People would probably buy that too.
Yes. Well, you don't remember the Funky Puppies? Maybe that was a SoCal thing.
No.
No?
I remember them. They had the little dog with a surfboard on for a logo.
Yeah.
Was it an actual brand or was it just people?
I think it was a brand kind of. It was a gimmick brand.
A gimmick. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, Jacob Fincher and I were talking about having quad box on here, but he doesn't think the world's ready for quad box yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you guys that don't know,
I think I'll be seeing him. I think I might be seeing him in the next couple of weeks.
I thought he moved to Texas, though.
Yeah. I think I'm going to see him at Texas Heatwave. I'll make sure and ask him if he'll be on the show.
Talk to Leonard. We'll bring up his quad box stuff.
Yeah.
And for you people that don't know, he is a very interesting individual. That's the best way to put it.
Wasn't he developing some like quad wood at some point?
Quad wood, yes.
Quad wood, yeah. That was.
I'll pay you $10,000 if you win a world championship with my quad wood.
Wow.
Isn't that what it was? And so
we'll have to get him on and clear the air and see what he says. So.
Nah, but he, like I said, he's another one. Tried to do his thing. It didn't work out, and he moved on. He's doing selling bikes now. I mean, speaking of, Rusty started out just subwoofers. Hold on real quick. I did see Marissa in here. Oh, yeah, Marissa O'Brien says she's watching. Rosa, I know you're watching. I saw you poke in there, too. Talk to Marissa. She's got the Bitches of Bass merchandise. So talk to her. I know you didn't get a chance to see her. She was out doing demos at Slamology, and I told you to go see her, and you were going to, but you didn't. But Marissa, she's good people too. Another family, right? Marissa and Thomas O'Brien. When we met them, they were DB Drag, didn't have a shop. Kids. I mean, just straight out of high school.
Yeah.
And they got married through DB Drag. They started their own shop up in Wyoming. I've had Marissa on the show, so she was on the show one time, and we talked about her stuff and how all of a sudden out of nowhere one of her memes just everybody was using it. Remember the one with her with
the hair trick.
Honda, yeah, Honda, Fonda the Honda or something. LaFonda, that's right, LaFonda the Honda. So, but yeah, so that's another one. Like I said, oh yeah, so Tristan wants to know, because people that have been doing this a minute, they've all used Radio Shack, and so Tristan wants to know, has Rusty ever used Radio Shack subs, and when he first started in car audio? Was that you?
The realistic?
Realistic.
Oh, realistics.
No. I have, no, never. I have had some budget friendly stuff. There was a California brand a long time ago called Bumper. I doubt they're still around. I used to have some of their tins.
The red surrounds.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I had some things like that. It wasn't until 1996 when I started doing Iasca that
Pyramid
I bought
Phase
some
3?
Soundstream gear.
Not Pyramid Phase 3?
Oh, Soundstream.
Phase 3s. David in high school had a pair of those with the clear cones, man.
That's right, poly cones, baby.
The coolest guy ever.
Yep, and you put little LED, or not LEDs then, you put actually light bulbs inside the box.
Yeah, they needed to be
light bulbs.
Well, yeah, because LEDs weren't around then.
Right. Oh my goodness. I can just imagine it now.
Dude, it was so hot inside those boxes. So yeah, so no Radio Shack.
No Radio Shack, no.
One other question here real quick. Lucky McGovern says, you might need to explain this to everybody. But it says, does Rusty Flowers want to do another food challenge? Just asking.
Food challenge.
So Lucky beats me at it. We haven't done it in quite some time, but we would just do these. So we get on Facebook Messenger, call each other, and just eat some weird random stuff. Mayo, pickle slices, and maybe take a bite out of tomato, just stuff like that. Who can stuff the strangest combination of things in their mouth? And I'd usually end up, he's got a stronger stomach, and I actually stopped bringing it up, talking to him, because I didn't want to play anymore.
Well, he got COVID and couldn't even taste anymore. That was cheating.
Oh,
That's
no.
probably why he won. Yeah.
That's
Probably why.
Yeah, for a while there, he couldn't even. Yeah, he couldn't even taste anything. He goes, dude, watch this. Mayonnaise and Tabasco and dude, some nasty ass crap on a piece of bread and nothing. Can't taste nothing. Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah,
so
I guess that's a bright side to getting COVID, right?
You need anything you want, not taste it.
Yeah, and then what was it? One time you said something about you've eaten Top Ramen before, and then all of a sudden, like the next couple of days, good Lord, did Top Ramen start showing up at your shop? Wasn't that Top Ramen?
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. I was getting cases of Top Ramen. People were shipping me cases. Forever to eat all that stuff. It reminded me of being 18 and living on my own. Just taking the Top Ramen everywhere. Although somebody sent me one, it was called Shin Black or something like that. SHIN. It was delicious. Best Top Ramen I'd ever had in my life. Spicy, but yeah, I got a lot of the 25-cent packets of Top Ramen, but they were to good use. I ate them.
So did somebody just mention you like Top Ramen, and then all these people just started sending you Top Ramen, or?
Yes, I don't actually remember even what kicked it off. There was something like that, yeah, and they must have been Amazon customers, because it's not like Top Ramen. There's
cases,
a box of
cases.
20, 30, at a time, and it was just day after day. This stuff was all showing up. What am I gonna do with all this Top Ramen?
Hey, the homeless shelter loves that crap.
Yeah. I was pretty sure there was maybe the shrimp. I think I got a case of shrimp top ramen.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure I gave that
okay.
one away. But like the beef and chicken, man, I ate those ones.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of, like I said, this show's not just about car audio; it's about the people in the car audio. Another thing that you and Anna are highly invested in is rescuing dogs. You want to speak
Yes.
towards that at all?
Yeah. So we started doing dog rescue stuff. Ooh. Earlier or kind of Sound Solutions days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We started doing pitbull rescue stuff, and then as time went on, and we became more uh, financially independent.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm still broke, but I have money to play with now. We've been able to do more and more things with actual like pitbull rescue foundations. So like there's one called Pit Crew in Sacramento that we usually do, and we still need to do one this year. But we usually do some type of like big product giveaway, and where we will let's say you could buy an entry for $1. You know what I mean? And all the money, 100% of it goes to the the dog rescues. You know, we don't do one of those. Well, it's $1,000 subwoofer, so we're gonna keep the first 1,000 and everything after that. You know, we don't do anything like we just give all the money to them. So we do things like that. Anna, she is, and I don't know how she does it, but she's somehow involved in some of the dog, multiple dog rescue foundations, like their Amazon account. So she watches for things that they ask for, you know, whether they're food, dog beds, kennels, whatever it is that they need. So she buys a lot of their stuff on their Amazon stuff for them and just has it sent directly to the shelters. Um, we foster dogs at the house. We usually try to find dogs that the ones that nobody wants, the ones with the most problems, because they're the hardest to get rid of. We generally don't foster puppies because they're all ungodly cute and have no problems getting home. So it's always the ones that that have it the roughest. So we take those ones, and then we also give like a not it's a small percentage. Again, we're not Richie Riches, but we give a percentage of the money that we get from DC. We donate it to the Dog Foundation, so
That's
the
cool.
money goes further than just DC Audio. It's we pay the bills, we get the payroll paid, things like that. But we also do things like that to help dogs, and they're mostly all pit bull stuff. Yeah.
Cool. So speaking of which, the other thing that happens too with companies like yours and you know Justin in particular, Justin Hankey, you know, and I don't think it's limited to him. I feel that just about everybody that works for you or has worked for you seem to consider you and Anna family, and it seems to be reciprocated. It's beyond just a boss employee relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just awesome. You want to speak towards that at all, or?
Yeah. So I'm not a very good boss. Right? So we'll start off with that. I didn't go to any type of business schools, anything like that. I have no idea how to manage people. I know how to be their friend. So really that's that's kind of how I try to run DC is I don't really look at anybody as an employee. If you work here, we're going to be friends, and that's just how it is. So bring him in, create that friendship, and we all just work together. And it's easier for me that way too. I'm not good at like I said, telling people how to do their job. I'm actually bad at even training people how to build subwoofers. I'm great at it myself. A lot of times I'll just tell them, just watch what I do and copy me. But yeah, Justin himself, just to speak about that guy, he's been here a long time. And before he worked here, when I'd see him at the shows, he always impressed me as being one of those guys that he can talk to anybody and he can talk to them forever. And I thought, man, that guy just needs to sell something. If he could just incorporate, a product into that whole conversation he's just having with people, it'd be amazing. And so I knew he had a lot of potential. And the other thing with Justin is, and I don't want to say it's a downfall because I see people taking advantage of him and it drives me bananas, but the guy is the nicest guy in the world. He will do absolutely anything for anybody. And I love him for it. And I try not to take advantage of it. Even when you don't need him to do something and you're doing it yourself, he's always that first guy to, hey, you need some help. Or any time at night, any problem you have, anything. It's if I had one person, one phone call I could make to anybody because I needed something, he would be my first phone call because guaranteed he'll show up. He's that kind of guy. And I have just a lot of love for the guy, for that. DC wouldn't be what it is without him.
I would agree with that. I mean, love you and Anna and all, but Justin is a big part of DC, absolutely. I mean, his part in the base bourbon, I mean, didn't he like swap out the engine and tranny on that thing too? And I mean, he's done mechanical work.
Yeah,
Wow.
I feel bad about it, man. Like,
Sure you do.
That's why I stay behind. So the first year, it's going to go to Slamology, right? So we get the thing built. It's all done. We bought that Suburban originally for $1,200, and we ended up just swapping everything out except for the motor and transmission. Everything else, had to be, swapped out to make it, what it is. He gets it almost there, and he calls me, and the starter had gone out on, like he was stuck in a gas station, would start, the starter wouldn't crank. Anyways, he gets it fixed in a parking lot, and ends up almost there, and he's saying, man, the engine's making a weird noise. Like, oh, you're almost there, bro. You might as well just keep going. It's not like you're gonna come back. You know what I mean? You're hours away from the place. He gets there, it demos the entire time, no problem. And then on his way back, somewhere in Illinois, he calls and he goes, "Bad news, bro. I'm on the side of the freeway, and the engine went real bad." And so it blew up. It ended up, having an oil pan full of needle bearings. And I told him, "Leave it there, bro. Just, I don't know. What do you do with it? What do you do with a car that's way the hell over there? I have no idea."
You call Gary Killian and hope he can pick it up for you.
Oh no.
Right. So we ended up with a guy in Florida that said, I'll go get it. He had a flatbed truck, and it was the same kind of deal where he did some transport stuff, and I think he already had some stuff coming to the West Coast. So Justin went to hang out at Phil Rowe's shop in Mattoon, Illinois, waiting for this guy to show up from Florida to Mattoon. He put the base bourbon and the trailer, our product trailer, on that thing, and then Justin drove all the way back with him. He could have flew, but Justin's like, "No, I want to make sure our stuff's okay. I'm just gonna hang out right here."
Wow.
I'm like, I wanted him to come back, man, because I had to answer the phone the whole time he was gone. I was like, "I'll get you on a flight right now, bro."
And that's the other thing is, if you ever talk to Justin about his job with you, he's like, I could not have, if I designed my dream job, it would not be any different than this. I get to build loud cars. I get to travel around, listen to loud cars, and just talk to people about loud cars. I mean, he's enthusiastic about what he's doing.
Yeah, he loves what he does. I know he does. And, as with any job, it's got its ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of positives, and sometimes you get those one customers that rub them the wrong way. But that's anything in life. You can work at McDonald's or whatever. You're gonna get some customers that just they're just gonna get at you for whatever reasons. But for the most part, 99% of the time, I know he loves his job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Jose Ramos wanted to ask, so did the dog rescue work? Is that what inspired the name the Pit Bull for the 20K amplifier?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's absolutely where that came from. Is just we do so much work with those pit bulls, and that's where it got its name. A lot of people ask me, would you name it a Rottweiler bull? I was like, no, it's just it just got that name because of what what Anna does with dogs.
Yep, that's cool. All right,
Yeah.
now so we're already into this thing 35 minutes, and we haven't even mentioned actually anything about your company yet. So, which isn't a bad thing, right? Because like I said,
Yeah, that's
this is
fine.
this show is more about the people that are part of it than the actual industry. It's the industry is part of it. The people are what make the industry what it is. So why don't you
Yeah.
tell us about? So I've been, catch here and there. I don't go on Facebook very often, to be honest with you. As you know, Facebook is not a great place to hang out. Uh, you and I've had that conversation before. Um,
Yeah.
but I do see you're starting to post a lot of stuff about bikes. Would you, what's going on
Yeah.
with you there?
So the bike stuff. So I have a big history with motorcycles, which is part of what's helping fuel my passion for being a part of the bike audio world, let's say. So my dad, he bought me my first motorcycle when I was 5 years old, a little Honda 50, and I've had one ever since. That transitioned into my early 20s. You mentioned earlier, I raced super bikes for 5 years, and yeah, Anna put an end to that politely, which was
Oh.
cool. It was fine. It was one of those things that I had a lot of fun doing. I got to travel around the West Coast, go to racetracks, hang out with people. Um, I just I wasn't super competitive, not the fastest guy on the track, but even the slowest guy on a racetrack is fast.
Yes.
So
Wow.
it was one of those careers that I had a great time. I was not going to make a financial impact on my life in a positive manner. It was just a lot of fuel money and
Yeah.
tires. You know,
Oof.
but great times. So anyways, yeah, I've had motorcycles all my life, and then the bagger world, which is for people that don't know what a bagger is, it's those Harleys that road glides, street glides that have they got giant fairings on them, they got hard bags in the back, things of that nature. These guys, a lot bigger on the East Coast,
Mm-hmm.
which is a lot of audio, right? These guys have started putting, just tremendous amount of power and speakers on these bikes. Some of these bikes, these guys that I'm working with, they got, there's a guy named Troy Milner, right? He's got this bike called Zeus. He has an astronomical amount of power, a bunch of mids and highs on the thing. It's got 610s in the back of the thing, and they just hammer it. They're wild. So I started building some stuff for these guys. And I'm having a lot of fun doing it just because it's something new, right? I think how long has DC been around? 15, 16 years, something like that, right? So you do a lot of the same stuff. So it's been kind of fun doing something different. And it started off just doing subwoofers for the guys, and then like, well, can you do this? Can you do that? Yeah, we can do anything you want, as long as people are willing to help with some R&D, because I don't know, my expertise isn't in what you guys are doing. So I'll do the best job I can. I'll send it to you. You put it on the bike. Tell me it's great out the box. It needs more of this or less of that. We'll make some adjustments. And some of the guys like, Troy and a guy named Eddie Hamilton from Weekend Audio. These guys have helped me develop some of this product, and it's just started to take off. And so yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It started off, like I said, with just doing the subwoofers for the guys, and then it came into kind of some basic mids, highs kinds of things, and now we're doing giant pro audio, mids with compression horns and things like that. We have a mini amp series that just about done with. So we're gonna send that into production pretty soon. Actually, that was a secret. Nobody knew about that.
So
Everybody knows now.
so with that being said, so what are the challenges you're finding with the bikes versus some of the car audio stuff?
Okay, so challenge number one.
Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, space is a huge challenge. but just understanding some of their lingo has been a huge challenge, you know? So, yeah, right. So check this out. So in the beginning, these guys had called and they'd say, you know, I'm looking for a 10-inch woofer. They're going to go in a sealed ported bag. A what? What the hell's a sealed ported bag? You know, who told you that? That's not real.
Yeah, I had to ask too, like, well, why is it called bagger beats? You know, and they're explaining to me this is referred to as bags, and it's the pockets that go on the sides of the motorcycle. Okay, I wasn't the only one.
Somebody said they have a sealed ported, you know, bag. The lids, which normally open up on the top so you can put stuff in it, they are sealed to the bag so they no longer open, and then there's a port somewhere on it. So that's sealed ported. The other thing that these guys do is, so in the beginning, they were like, hey, I want to get some of these level 4, you know, 10s. You know, what's their power rating? It's a 1,500 watt speaker. Okay, well, my buddy's got 10K on him, and he doesn't have no problem. And I go, that's impossible. You can't get I don't know what your buddy's doing over there. He's a liar. But, you know, it turns out that, you know, what these guys are doing is they're getting these, you know, Sound Digital's making all those Evo X amps, and they're really small. They do make a lot of power. You know, we put them on some of the bikes, and they do an amazing job. You know, they're real small, but you know, they're putting an astronomical amount of power on the bikes, and then just dialing it back to, you know, what the speakers can take and not go up in smoke. You know, but like I said, it's completely different. You know, I've learned I can get away with telling these guys, you know, I know you're going to use a Sound Digital, so put a Sound Digital 5K, those subs, and everything will be fine. I tell that to a car audio guy. He's going to call me next week and tell me his trunk's on fire.
What do you mean fuses? Fuses are for wussies, right?
Yeah.
John Dempsey here says, oops, I think so he thinks your new amp series is going to be the Chihuahua series for the bike.
You know, I actually haven't come up with a real name for him yet. You know, I was on the internet, you know, things like small, you know, looking at you know, mini, nano, you know, things of that. And then I've also learned that if you're gonna come up with a name, then you have to start researching every other car audio brand to make sure that they're not already using it. So I don't actually have a name for them yet. They're just
the teacup pit bulls.
No.
Yeah, the teacup pit bull.
I don't think the bikers would go for Chihuahua or teacup anything. So, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's the chains and leather series.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
Offended 50% of them watching.
That's great. So now you're doing the pro audio stuff. You got the mids, the highs, the horns, which is definitely new for you guys.
Yeah.
So do you do much with Kegel still? I mean, he's got 2 championships in the Bagger Beats.
Yeah. So I do. He, you know, when he first started doing it, we weren't really offering anything really for the bike world. So his bike's full of a lot of DB Drive Euphoria stuff. Which is all really, really nice gear. That's super popular in the bike world. Those guys, I'm just openly promoting competitors. The Ground Zero people, you know, they're super popular in the bike world. But Chris has been, you know, picking up a couple DC things here and there for the bike, you know, slowly swapping them over. So it's good to see him. Good to see him coming home, because I didn't want to have to go to his house and talk to him.
and realistically, Kegel's been with you for an extended amount of time.
Yeah, a long time. Kegel started coming around in the Sound Solutions days, long before DC, and yeah, he's been a huge supporter of me for a long time, and he's you know, one of the people that got me to where I am. You know, I tell customers, I know a lot of the customers, right? But it's impossible to know every customer. So I openly put it on. I actually put it on Facebook the other day. I put thank yous out there all the time, because if it wasn't for, you know, every person that ever bought anything, you know, that said DC audio on it, I wouldn't have this job. I wouldn't be able to do what I love. And I absolutely love every person that's ever done that for me. So yeah, I understand. I don't know. There's lots of things you can buy, right? Lots of companies out there, and people have that option of buying whatever they want. And I feel as though some of them buy DC because, like Daniel Cruz, I think he only buys DC because it's got his damn initials on it. You know? but but there's some people that legitimately they love DC audio products, and it's good stuff. And I know there's some people that buy DC audio products just because they want to they like me. You know what I mean? They want to support me and my wife and the company and watch us grow and do things. And I love all of them to death for allowing me to live my dream 100%.
And it doesn't hurt having a cabinet shop foreman as a friend when it comes to box building days, huh?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
You just may know where to get some 3/4 or 1 inch or 1 1/4 MDF or HDF.
Whatever you need.
Yeah. And maybe some badass tools to cut that stuff too, right?
Yeah.
No, that's not how you put a joint together. Here, let me show you. So,
right?
No, Kegel's a good guy. I mean, he's been a supporter of DB Drag, you know, and all that stuff, you know, since I can remember, you know.
Yeah, long time. He'd show up at the show with his little notebook.
Yep.
You know, he set his notebook on his tire and look at his notes, and you know what I mean? Flip some pages, and all right, face knob, and turn this that way and that way. And how hot is it out here? Okay, one click.
He's like,
yeah.
You go click down.
Yep. So before we run out of time, I definitely want to get into something. You've been a supporter of the multi-venue location for World Finals in DB Drag. You've participated in that, and you've also participated and been a supporter of DB Drag World Finals at a single location. Can you like speak to and explain to people there's a difference in just a one location and a multiple location? Not that one, you know, each has its advantages, but can you speak to like the differences and what, because since we're doing a single location this year for World Finals, can you speak to what that possibly, the advantages of that are?
Single location?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So single location advantages. I'm going to say that the biggest advantages you're going to have with the single location is you're all in one spot at one time, you know, which I think is great in the sense of it can keep people from arguing about who's got what and how things go. You know what I mean? If everybody's in one location, you got one set of judges, everybody's, you know, coming together to form a group opinion at the same place about things. I think that's a big deal. One of my favorite parts about the one location, anytime I went to a one location one, is that's when I got to meet everybody I don't get to compete against. When I'd go to the East Coast, you know, that's when you run into the Team Livewire guys, you know, Eric Alexander, Mike Stiers, Gorman Cassidy. First time I ever saw Scotty Johnson, you know, so there's all these big name competitor guys, and you can compete all you want. Let's say on the West Coast, chances are you'll never see them in person, never meet them, never get to talk to them, never see their cars in person. So there's a lot of those types of advantages of being at the same place at the same time. Sure there's more. But,
so for me personally, the big advantage is the competition is its own thing and separate. It's what you do after the competition. You meet these people and you truly connect. You connect because of your love for car audio, but man, people have a great time. I mean, Jeffrey has a few stories. I'm sure you have a few stories.
Parties.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's always something great to do with people that you would never ever meet, as you said,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for the single location finals.
Yeah, you'll never meet them.
Yeah.
Now that being said, the advantage of the multi-location is I know that there's people that compete on a shoestring budget, and can't necessarily afford the travel to get there or afford the time away from work. So the multi-location allows people that couldn't normally financially be able to compete to be able to compete on that level. So I think that is a big advantage of the multi spot location is it gives more people an opportunity to compete. It gave, I know the West Coast guys, going back to like the XSSPL guys, Roger,
Yeah.
Jeffrey, the West Coast has hardcore competitors that made the trip to the East Coast every year, and several champions that came out of the West Coast that made those trips, like Jeffrey there, and there could have been more. There's got to be some guys on the West Coast. Yeah. But what about the guys that couldn't afford to go? Maybe they would have had a shot at it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it opens up the door for those guys.
Yeah. And also, like I said, the for me the big deal and what I intend to propose at the end of this year to Wayne is have a single location every 3 years and alternate it from east to west. So you go 2 years of satellite locations, and then every third year is West Coast or an East Coast single location. It helps with the judging because all the judges are in one spot, and the judges get an opportunity to talk and look. I mean, you guys as competitors don't see it, but things as simple as mic placement. There's discussions amongst the judges on where the mic goes. Goes over 12 up 4. Well, does it go over 12-4? Do you angle this? There's really, honestly, there's discussions, right? Because we try our best to be as consistent as possible. And the opportunity for us to be consistent is if we get together in one location. So that's my suggestion, and then it gives the people the advantage of saying, hey, we got 2 years of satellite locations, get your stuff in order. And if we move it from east to coast to west coast, then we get to really see if these East Coast guys are truly what they say they're going to do, and say it doesn't matter where World Finals is, I'm coming. Now, I guarantee you,
we find out.
Team Incriminator, they'll come. I mean, they came this year, right? DTX, they came. RP Patel and his group, Soundcheck. I guarantee they'll come. But those other people, I mean, and the same with them. Come out west. There is a different feel at the show on the West Coast than there is on the East Coast. And not that it's better, it's just different.
Just different.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's an opportunity that you don't get all the time, and and I would highly encourage anybody to take advantage of it. You have an opportunity to go to World Finals as a single location. It should be really good. As a manufacturer, it's to your advantage to have a single location, because now you don't have to split up having 2 booths or deciding, hey, I'm going to put a booth on the West Coast just because it's much closer. So the clouds of smoke, right? Oh, Joseph Riney says, by different feel, Doug, you mean all the clouds of smoke, right? And it's not necessarily that.
No.
you know, the guys on the West Coast tend to barbecue together, and not that they don't hang out together, but on the East Coast, but they hang out together to get just plastered. They aren't barbecuing together in general on the East Coast. They're competing, and then it's how drunk can I get and how stupid can I be. That's pretty accurate with what you saw in the single like location East Coast, Rusty.
No comment.
But on the West Coast, it tends to be, hey, let's chill and hang out and break bread together, brother. Right?
The West Coast events are super laid back, and it is a big hangout event, afterwards.
Yeah. So, and let's see. Other huge difference is most of the West Coast rigs are daily drivers, not just burp rigs, and that's true too.
Yeah, but I think there's another side to that. I think that there are more daily drivers on the West Coast for sure. But is it because the West Coast focuses on daily drivers, or is it because the East Coast has more, hardcore extreme builders?
Yeah, I think it's both. Both are not. It's both things. It's not one individual thing. It's the people on the West Coast, being that they're more laid back and that thing, they tend to build something that they could drive on the daily, where the people on the East Coast, they're building a vehicle specifically for what they're doing, and that's a very general look. Not
Sure.
everybody is that way. I mean, look at Team SSC, right? They have very purpose-built vehicles. So like I said, and you can ask the people. I mean, we had Rob Collar on here. We've had Dan from DTX. We had the Tennessee Gracie on here, and they'll tell you they had a blast and they really enjoyed coming out west. So, like I said, I encourage them to come out west. I encourage the people in the west to go out east. It's you guys will definitely find kindred spirits, no doubt.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think that's the way the vehicles are, the way they build their vehicles. I want to include the Midwest in with like
Yes.
the East Coast, Midwest and East Coast,
Yes.
because that's what their roots are. Their roots are making it loud and just crazy, and that's how a lot of the extreme competitors are out that way in Midwest and East Coast, and the West Coast. It's a little different in that their exposure to it is like the Cyclone and the street classes and stuff like that, which I mean it's not a bad thing, but it's just where the roots were. That's, I think, the Midwest had a lot of influence in like the East Coast, I guess, so to speak.
Well, the Midwest was really strong when DB Drag
Oh, yeah.
started. I mean, the Midwest was where, I mean, it definitely spread from Midwest out. Fortunately, I was able to gain traction for DB Drag on the West Coast, and then there's a handful of people that helped gain traction for DB Drag on the East Coast. But you guys had like Sam Horn and Steve Benton. And between the two of those guys, they really dominated the DB Drag scene as far as amount of events they did and judging and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, which hey, that's what it is, right? And they did a great job in growing the Midwest for SPL. So, and like you said, I think that's where their roots were. Where on the West Coast, and to be purely honest, I push, since I started in 2000, I really pushed the street class, the base race, the DB Drag, and the daily driven vehicles. That is maybe my fault that I'm not pushing the SPL classes as much, but I do feel your everyday competitor can show up to a show with a daily driven vehicle and compete in base race, top dog, or and even Cyclone is not out of the question. If you have what you consider a pretty loud daily driver and it plays low, you have a shot at Cyclone.
Yeah.
Right? So, yep. Let's see. Anything else we got in here? Sam Dunn says, I got love for the West Coast competitors. Riney says, the East Coast guys that came out west were good people. DTX folks, hella cool. You know, and that's the other thing, too, is there's a handful of companies that are located on the East Coast. So that's helpful, you know. Are you going to World Finals, Rusty, or are you just going to send Justin again?
I like sending Justin everywhere, and he likes it when I send him. So
he loves it.
Yeah, it's a great relationship. You know, I don't have any plans right now of going to the East Coast anytime, you know, immediately soon. But you know, who knows? I've actually just been kind of venturing out to some shows again. You know, I've been chained to this desk, you know, for a little while, and yeah, I'm just now kind of starting to venture out a little bit. So hey, who knows what the future holds? You know what I mean? But yeah.
You know, if you're in Kentucky, you can stop by Eminence and maybe look at some product over there. Just saying.
What?
For those who know, they know, right?
For those, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, they're out in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of people out there on the East Coast.
Yeah.
A lot of companies out there.
Yeah, a lot in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Florida. How many subwoofer companies? You guys, Crossfire's in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
That's kind of the middle.
Oklahoma is kicker, right?
Yeah, you got DD there, kicker.
Yeah.
And then let's see,
Rockford
over here,
out of Arizona.
Yep, Arizona. You got Scott Atwell over at FI.
Yep,
Yeah.
Vegas.
Nevada.
Yep. Jeff Vu, man, Sacramento. Shout out to Jeff Vu, man.
Shout out. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That guy's making it happen, man. Good for him. He's a good guy, man. Whenever I see him at the shows, he just cracks me up. I like seeing that guy. But I like to see everybody succeed. You know, it's good.
Yep. No, that's good. Yeah, even if they're not running your product, right?
Even if they're not, man. Even if they're not, you know, you can't. And I don't. It's gonna sound stupid. I don't want everybody to run DC. You know what I mean? You have to have a variety of things. You know, the cars would be boring if Chevy was the only car company in the world. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to have different things. You have to have people that support these different companies that create the competitiveness. You know. So since it's me and Jeffrey here, you know, there's the guys, Team DC, you know, there's a Crossfire guys, a Team Crossfire, and you know, I respect the hell out of those guys. I think they feel the same way about me. And when the guys show up with the lanes, you know, it creates this this competition vibe, you know, and we all love to see our competitors doing great, and it pushes people like me to build a better product. You know, you guys to do a better product, you know, and it's just the way it is. Everybody,
Right.
There's room for all of us to do good and have fun. And I hope the best for all of us.
Yeah. Give each other motivation.
Yep.
That's right.
And-
Yeah.
That's right.
And your speakers might not be right for somebody's build, where some other one might be perfect.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know?
No, they don't all sound the same. There's going to be some speakers that in one guy's application,
Mhm.
you know, another company might, you know, be able to drop product in and it's louder.
Yep.
Or you got another customer that, you know, maybe he's looking for something that plays super, super low. And there's another company that in his enclosure, in his setup, you know, it plays a little bit lower. It's going to happen. You know, we've lost some customers to other companies because a product worked better, but we've also gained some customers on the flip side because our product worked better for them in that application. You know, so it just is what it is. And like I said, there's room for all of us, and you just got to have fun, man.
Yep.
Exactly.
All right, Jeffrey, we're over our hour already. You want to hit Rusty with our final question, and we'll let him get back to
Sure. I feel like Rusty's another one of those guys that it's like he's the quintessential of, you know, what I'm going to ask him. So I don't even feel like, you know, asking him the person to ask, you know, but we'll try anyway. So Rusty, it's a question that we ask all of our guests. And basically, we want to know what your definition of a bass head is.
Okay. I guess my definition of a bass head is anybody that likes low no frequencies. You know, if you got subwoofers in your car, and or if you don't have subwoofers but you're saving up to get some subwoofers just because you like bass, if you're the guy that's at the stoplight and don't turn it down, you know, you're probably a bass head.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a great definition. Rusty, so tell us where to get a hold of you, your products, what people need to do. I mean, because you know, maybe retailers. What would they do to get a hold of you and your company?
So if somebody's interested in something that we do or that we can provide for them, we have the website, which is dcsoundlab.com. You know, you can go there and look at anything that we make. If you have custom need, one of the things that we do, you can go to our Facebook page or Instagram. You'll see all kinds of custom stuff that we do. If you got specific colors, anything you want, powder coated frames, you know, anything. We can do anything for the most part that you want, and we build a lot of custom speakers because of it. So if you have a question about something you want custom built specifically for you, give us a call. It's 855 SPLDBs with Z's. So that's 775-299. Yeah, you like that? So yeah, call us. You know, maybe you want a subwoofer that will work on a 1500 watt amp that has a glitter pink frame and a purple unicorn on the dust cap. I got you. We can do that. So yeah, and then from there, you would just venture out to any dealer, whoever you're comfortable with. You know, if you have a local moms and pop store in your area that sells DC, then you know we can get it set up with them. So you can go in there, make your purchase, support your local store. If you don't have a local store, we have plenty of online options where you could buy it. You know, Sky High Car Audio, Drop It Hurts Car Audio, Down for Sound. Now, I'm just going to leave it at that because if somebody's going to be mad I didn't mention their name.
Oh, no.
So you can go to any of the online places, buy anything you want. But yeah, that's how you get a hold of us. And I appreciate anybody that does, of course.
Speaking of which, real quick, you know, I don't want to get off on the whole tangent, but you just may have built a custom set of somethings for Mike, right? Mike Hampton.
Oh yeah, man, that's been an amazing adventure in life right there. You know,
wow, cool.
when I first started talking to Mike,
hold on real quick. For those that don't know who Mike Hampton is, that's DJ Magic Mike.
DJ Magic Mike.
So sorry about that, Rusty. I just want to make sure everybody knew who they were.
Yeah. So when I became a bass head, right?
Yeah.
Man, I still got some of the cassettes from
me too.
Yeah.
I got a cassette and like 5 or 6 of his CDs still right now.
Yeah. I still have them. And you know, I went through the whole cassette, you know, pull out Discman, you know, I went through all these things. So anyways, I reached out to him and I wanted to build him in the beginning a subwoofer. And that kicked off this whole friendship. He's been out here and hung out at DC. We got to spend time together. He's an amazing person. But just recently, I custom made a one-of-a-kind amplifier for him. I stripped it down, anodized it blue. Steve Mead did all the lasering for the logos for me. Our sub builder Brian did all the graphic art for it. Barnaby Lang did the acrylic backplate, and then we had like cap logos, you know, with the Magic Mike logos and stuff put on it. So we just made it all about him. I didn't tell him anything other than, man, I'm gonna make you something cool, you know. And I just left it at that. And I learned a lot. You know, I learned you can't laser powder coat. Originally, I powder coated the amp like a cool blue. It didn't work out, you know. So you know, a lot of things I've learned by screwing them up a few times. And that was definitely one of these projects. But I shipped it to him, man, and then he called me, and it was just, you could hear, it just made him happy, which made me happy. You know what I mean? I love doing things for people that, you know, appreciate them, and then just allowed me to do it. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, that's DJ Magic Mike, and I'm blessed to have him a part of my life, man. I really am. To go from listening to somebody's music in the 90s to you know, being his friend, you know, just calling him. I don't know that, well, I'm sure he wouldn't care, but like some of the tracks that he's made, like before he released them, you know, he'd make the tracks and he'd send them to me. Hey man, play this on something with a lot of bass. You know, listen to it, let me know what you think. We'd go back, you know, we've gone back and forth on some of it, you know, helped him make some changes. Not like he needs my help. You know, he really
You're the producer.
Executive producer.
I think he did it just to make me feel special, which I'm totally okay with. His last CD, when it showed up, man, I opened it up, I'm looking through it, I'm reading, and dude, he didn't say anything to me. There's a thank you to Rusty Flowers, and I was like, dude, that's just amazing, man. You know what I mean? I got all weirdly emotional about it. But anyway, yeah, that's Mike, man.
Yeah, that's good. We're still trying to get him on the show. It's a matter of connecting with the guy, so hopefully I can have him on the show. I would really appreciate, like I said, big part of my bass head journey, Miami bass stuff. So, you know, Magic Mike and, you know, MC80, baby. I'm telling you, the greatest song ever when you have an SPL build, because it's 53 hertz.
Yeah, that's badass.
So I'm trying to work to try and get him on here. I would love to make a connection. We keep listening to each other, whatever. Anyway, so Jeffrey,
can we get some of his music on the DB Drag CDs or?
So it's difficult. We got Billy E, which is another one of the the Miami bass group from Techmaster PEB. Billy E was part of that group.
Right. Okay.
So he's on there, and I don't know that Wayne's looking to license any different music, but that doesn't mean we aren't. But DB Drag does work directly with Billy E on a lot of the music.
Because I thought we were having some like difficulty getting a CD together, or there was some
there was something because something happening with some licensing stuff. It was changing hands currently, and that made it a little more difficult because we did deal directly with Billy E, and with it licensing changing hands, the people that are in charge of the licensing portion were they just requested more stuff.
Well, now that we got
Magic Mike on board,
Magic Mike's best friend over here, Rusty Flowers, maybe we can get him on the CD.
That guy makes some awesome music. That's all I can say. I'm a big fan of his stuff.
Me too.
Anyway, Jeffrey, so what you got coming up? Where are you going? Let's hear about that 2X.
So I'm doing a show. I'm going back to Cali, like the song says, going back to Cali. I'm going to be there for the show that we got going on in San Bernardino on Saturday, July 9th. It's sponsored by the Team Gorilla Hertz guys, as well as Greg Marmolejo. Just recently, just a couple of days ago, we got it upgraded. Big shout out, thanks going out to Moses Martinez for upgrading it to a double point event. So, you know, I'm going to be out there. If you guys are in the area, come out. I know SoCal is huge in the SPL scene right now. So, you know, make your way to San Bernardino and come check out the show.
Yep. And for me, my next show is this coming Friday night. We'll be at Jay's Alarms. We only have, I think, one more show after that, and we'll be giving the $5 per DB away for the death match at the end of the show. So if you can hit a 150, it pays like $750.
Wow.
So I'm just saying the base bourbon's eligible.
Oh, there you go.
So
Justin, what are you doing? I got to see.
Besides for that, we moved our July 9th show to July 11th. That help accommodate the shows that 9th to the 16th, which is the following Saturday. Help accommodate the show you're doing and some other things happening in the local area. So we, we made a
cool.
executive decision to, that way we can help support you guys and what you're doing.
Cool.
Then after that, we're heading to Reno again. And this, once again, Moses Martinez upgraded it to a 2X, inviting all the Cali guys saying, hey, you know what? Come out to Reno. Have a good time. I mean, the location is right down the street from Baldini's. We have freedom to do what we need to do. We can demo and that stuff. Joseph Riney wants to know how we upgrade the show. You can get a hold of us individually, and we can tell you. But in general, we charge an additional fee. That fee covers the cost of the sanctioning fee, and the additional fee covers, at least in my case, it covers the upgrade in trophies. As you guys know, as you go to more X's, the bigger the trophies get. For my particular event, I believe Jeffrey's are similar. And then, because we have extra judging fees, extra sanctioning fees, and extra trophy fees. So that additional cost covers those fees for us. So that's how you
Generally, what is the upgrade fee?
Huh?
Single to double. Generally, about what is the upgrade fee going from a
so
single to a double?
I can't speak to Jeffrey's shows, but my shows, I charge $500 per X.
Nice.
So you want a 1X show, that's $500. You want a 2X show, that's $1,000. You want a 3X show, that's $1,500. Jeffrey's fees may be totally different. My package and what I offer is completely different than what most judges. I offer the sanctioning fee, the trophies, and my staff. So basically give me a place to plug in and a trash can out there, and that's what my fee is. Well, I mean, seriously, because we don't.
I'm lit a trash can and I'm having a show.
That's right.
You're halfway there. You got a trash can.
Well, I mean, so Rusty was a shop owner, and Rusty tried to do his own DB drag one time, and I remember him calling me afterwards and going, "Damn, it's worth every penny to have you do this."
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, as a shop owner, what you're after, at least what I was after by having a show, is getting your clientele there, getting potential customers there, getting random people that don't even really know a lot about you there, so you can expose yourself to them, talk to them, do things, whatever the case may be. Well, when you try to have your own show,
it's hard.
You're so tied up in running the show that all the benefits of having the show, a lot of them are going away because you don't have time to address all those people. If you have a shop, you're trying to sell things and make money so you could pay the bills and whatnot. It's hard to sell things when you're running things, that show. So 100%, if somebody's watching, they're interested in having a show, hire Doug, hire Jeffrey. It's worth every penny. They're experts. They know what they're doing. They've been around a long, long time. They're great people. Give the guys a job and run your store, and it will work out, 10 times better than trying to do it yourself.
Yep. So, all right, guys, we did run a little bit.
We just got an endorsement. We got an endorsement.
I know,
from Rusty
awesome.
Flowers. Isn't that cool?
So speaking of endorsements, right below myself, right there, right below Jeffrey over there.
That's a good segue.
I know. Right below Jeffrey over there is we have these spots available on our podcast. We have a full deal for sponsoring our events or our shows. The podcast itself, like I said, right below us, we have a nice, pretty spot down there to put logos and whatnot, and commercial time available on our podcast. Remember, we put this out on audio podcast also. We try to get that out. It typically takes till the next day because it doesn't process it fast enough for me to get it out the same day with adding the multiple streams like I did. When I only streamed to Facebook, I was able to create the podcast at the same time. So I can't do that with the multiple streams for some reason. The software doesn't allow me to do that. So, but if you would like to sponsor the the podcast, This Week in Car Audio. Like I said, right down below me, right below Jeffrey, we have these spots available. Just contact the one of us there. We have it. We split all the cost. We split the cost of putting the show together. We split the cost of whatever we make together, 100%. Jeffrey doesn't help me get guests as much as I like to because, Roger there's kind of avoiding us.
Yeah, he's a shy guy. I gotta trick him. I gotta trick him into doing the show.
Sit here for a minute, Roger.
Yeah, I gotta get him on the phone and then just put it on speaker. And we got our guest this week. It's Roger. He's a shy guy.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Once again, thank you for chiming in here and being part of This Week in Car Audio. Thank you to our guest, Rusty Flowers. Thank you to my great co-host, Mr. Jeffrey Fernandez. We'll see you guys next week. We're going to do it on Tuesday, though.
Tuesday.
Because Monday's 4th of July, and I'll be having a party at my house. So my wife says I can't do it. Jeffrey. Huh?
Everybody's invited to.
Everybody's.
I'll post his address on my.
My address isn't very hard to find. All you gotta do is check it out on Facebook, or YouTube, or
Doritos.
Yeah. So anyway, don't worry if he posts my address, I'll post his. Rusty's got an awesome backyard that he spent many hours building. That looks actually pretty awesome. Well-designed xeriscape out there. Good job, Rusty, by the way.
Thanks. I can post your address. You're safe.
So, but anyway, guys, hey, thank you for tuning in this week. We'll see you next week on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. California time, the only time that does matter. And once again, thank you for tuning in to This Week in Car Audio. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.